Assembled alternator here, partly assembled alternator, and we're fitting the rectifier. It's got the part with all the diodes in. It controls the flow of current. Now we've fitted it onto the top of the alternator, and we've got the 4 tails from the stator in the connections. I've got them cleaned and fluxed up, and I'm about to I've soldered one, and I'm just in the process of soldering the other 3. You need quite a decent, half decent soldering iron for these. I had a little one from Aldi, and it was about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. It just wouldn't get hot enough. So they're quite big connections, so you need to have quite a powerful soldering iron to be able to solder the end. Now what you've got to be wary of is you don't want to drop any solder inside the alternator. It gets stuck. Get it as hot as you can, and then apply a bit of solder. Apply your soldering iron and get the connection hot first. Then, once it's hot enough, apply your solder so that the solder will melt and run in and join the 2 surfaces together. There we go. This, it's not an expensive soldering iron, this, it's a series. It works on 2 temperatures, 40 and 80 watt, 2 powers, so you can use it for smaller things, but this thing I've got it on about full power. My solder is not great, but the thing with this is you don't want to put too much on, because you don't want to drop down inside the alternator, so take your time. Just gotta make sure that it's got a good connection and leave it alone. So that's all 4 done. So that rectifier now is fitted. Right, the next thing now is the brushes. This little brush pack here, it's got the little pin in holding the brushes back. So we want to, it slides in like so, push it right into the bottom. There's your 2 wires, 2 connections, and now we can just pull that pin out, and it has a cap which goes on to protect the brushes. It just clips on the top. There we go, done. That's the brushes fitted. Next is the voltage regulator. Now the voltage regulator goes on to, it's held on with some T20 Torx and just fits on like that. Now this connection here is the connection for the one side of the brushes, and the one little one in here is the other connection there. Joins in there like that, and that goes on with 2 tiny little nuts, 5mm nuts. Five mil sockets, where are we? That's it, there we go. Just nip it up, it doesn't need to be tight, just a little nip. Don't force nothing, that's it. And the other one, I can find it. There we go. Now, we can fit 2 of these T20 Torques to hold this regulator down. One there, and one here. Again, just need to be nipped. They weren't tight when I took them off, so they just need to be nipped in. It's only a little plastic fitting that they're holding down. It's not going to go anywhere. Now the last one, I'm going to put it on, but I've had to order an adapter for the main connection from the alternator to the battery. It's just not long enough. It's the right rectifier, but when you put it on, the little thread doesn't stick on. So what I've got to do, doesn't stick out. So what I've got to do is put like a little female to male adapter there with a M6 thread, and I'll have to drill the back of this so it slides over. I couldn't take the old one off and fit it because this has got an insulated cap underneath it, and it's moulded on. I didn't want to damage it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an adapter on there. They use them on PCBs and things. It's a proper electrical adapter. It's just that for some reason they didn't put a long enough thread on. I don't know why. Maybe it's, you know, things change over time. They keep changing the designs of things, don't they? Now this particular one here, this connection here, because it's holding this bit of this plastic cup that protects the connections, it's got a bigger washer on, so you need to be mindful of that when you're putting it together, that bigger washer goes on there. Again, it's T20 Torques. Needs to be nipped up. Then there was a cover that fits over the rectifier. Balderdash fiddlesticks. I'll have to just loosen that off to get the cover. It just slides underneath the thing there. There we go. Right, and that's held on with three 8mm nuts. Again, it doesn't need to be over tight, just needs to be nipped up. And then there's a cover, a plastic shield which goes over the whole thing. It goes over the three studs there and is held on again with three little nuts, three 8mm nuts. The thing that remains to be done now is the pulley. Just needs nipping up with the impact gun, and that's the alternator complete. Now all that remains now, what we're going to do now is we're just waiting. I've ordered the adapter for there. There's a cover that goes over there like that. I've ordered the adapter for there, waiting for that to come. I've just got to nip that up with the impact gun, fit it to the tester. I'm going to test it when I get the main connector, maybe so I can reach it with my alternator, and see how it goes. That's the alternator done. Get it fitted to the vehicle. Hopefully everything will be fine. What a job. Would I do it again? No, I wouldn't. Not unless I had to. It's been an absolute nightmare. getting the right parts, sourcing the right parts has been hard. There's no information on the internet about this particular, or very little information about this particular alternator. There's every other alternator under the sun apart from this one. Visteon, for some reason, doesn't seem to be very popular, a very popular make. And they're quite expensive. So hopefully I've cured it. Seems to be spinning nicely. All new parts, the whole thing. I've renewed the slip rings, I've renewed the bushes, I've renewed the rectifier, I've renewed the voltage regulator, I've renewed the bearings, I've cleaned it, I've painted it, I've cleaned the stator in the sonic cleaner, I've cleaned the rotor in the sonic cleaner. What more can you do? Hopefully it'll be okay. It's been a learning experience. Hopefully it'll be okay. I've got the brackets which I've also cleaned, and then I'm just waiting now for the part off the back, and then I can get it on. The end. Well, not quite the end, there's a part 4 where we replace it. Oh, sorry, where we refit it to the vehicle. I mean, if I could do it again, I'd have a press. The one thing I needed when I was fixing this was a press. You can get the bearings off, but it causes so much damage. I mean, when I took the bearing off the front, it damaged the little propeller on the front, so I had to straighten that. When I got the bearing off the back, it caused a bit of damage to the inside, and the tolerance here, it's less than 1 millimetre. You've got no tolerance at all. This clamps down, this pulley here clamps down onto the bearing. So if that bearing on the inside isn't right, this snags on the body of the alternator, and there's probably 1 millimetre of play between the back of the pulley and the body of the alternator. So if you don't get it in right, it's not going to work. And there's no clamp on the inside of this, clamping the bearing down. So when you take it out, it causes a little bit of damage on the inside. So if your bearing's not tight, it won't work. You know, I've had a go. So if I was to do one again and the bearings were gone, I wouldn't touch it, I wouldn't do it. But if it was just a rectifier and the voltage regulator and the bushes, well then yeah, it's worth doing. Because they're only, you know, the rectifier is about 25 quid. The bushes are 6 or 7 quid. And the voltage regulator is about 20 quid. So we put that, you know, with a few other bits and pieces like the slip rings, they were a £5. Bit of solder, you know, that's it really. You put your time. So you could probably repair it for about 50 or 60 quid if you needed to, or less if you tested the parts. You can't test the voltage regulators, but you can test the rectifier. And obviously the bushes, you can see the bushes and the slip rings are no good. So, you know, but I was determined to build it and get it on the vehicle and just see if I could do it, see if I work it. It'll work. I wanted to refurbish it and put it on. So it was my personal choice. Made a lot of mistakes and I don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully it'll be okay. Time will tell. And maybe I'll be updating this video in a few weeks, I don't know. Put a new alternator on my van. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so that's the end of this video now.